We honestly didn't want to move forward recording without Melvin's participation, and he had grown a little weary with all the trappings of the music industry.
Seven was set to sing it, but the day that they were going to sing it, they didn't show up in the studio.
It wasn't that the group wasn't there, it was Melvin wasn't available and we didn't know where it was.
Fans always saw After Seven as a family-tight group, but what they did to Melvin Edmonds was just terrible. He didn't just leave the group, he was pushed away by pain and problems that no one helped him face. From industry pressure to drug struggles and a stroke that changed everything. Even worse,
Melvin's a gifted tool, and I don't think that we'll find anybody, we were ever going to find anyone that could replicate that.
the group had its own struggles. Their label, Virgin Records, wasn't giving them the push they needed. No posters, no real promotion, just silence. That silence led to their breakup. Let's delve in.
Stay a little while longer, baby.
Melvin Edmonds began to have problems with drug addiction. That started to affect the group. Melvin made the choice to leave the group. Many people believed it was only because of drug problems, but that was not the full story. His brother, Kevin Edmonds, said drugs were part of it, but not the main reason. Melvin had been in the music business for many years. He got tired of all the stress and pressure. He didn't feel like he had the right people around him to help or support him during hard times. All of this made him feel like stepping away from music was the best thing to do for his life and peace of mind. He needed time away from the spotlight. Years after leaving the group, Melvin faced more personal problems. In 2011, he had a stroke. A stroke is a serious health issue that happens when the brain doesn't get enough blood. It left Melvin partly paralyzed. This made it even harder for him to sing and perform. Before the stroke, he already had trouble with the pressures of the music world. Now, with his health getting worse, it became nearly impossible for him to return to the stage. The stroke changed his life. It made things harder not just for him, but also for the group. His long break from music became even longer because he needed time to heal. Even though he tried to stay strong, the health problems really slowed him down.
Melvin's a gifted tool, and I don't think that we'll find anybody, we were ever going to find anyone that could replicate that.
The drug addiction issue did not just hurt him, it also affected the rest of After Seven.
Obviously, we've seen some performances maybe when he was using and when he wasn't.
Being in a group means working closely with others. Trust and teamwork are very important. But when someone is dealing with addiction, it can cause problems. There were times when the group struggled to stay united because of the tension. Melvin's drug use caused missed rehearsals, canceled shows, and emotional stress. Everyone in the group felt it. They wanted him to get better, but they also had to think about the future of the group. Addiction is a hard battle, and Melvin fought it for many years. Though he tried to overcome it, the effects were still felt by everyone around him. Another big reason the group had trouble was because of the music industry itself. After Seven released their third album called Reflections in 1995. The group worked hard on the album and hoped it would do well, but they felt like their record label, Virgin Records, didn't support them enough. They believed the label didn't do a good job of promoting the album. Without good promotion, fewer people heard the songs, and the album didn't become a big success. This made the group feel frustrated and unappreciated. They had given their best, but the business side didn't do its part. In 1997, just 2 years after the album came out, the group disbanded. They didn't think they were getting the same attention as other artists on the label. They believed they were being pushed to the side. This caused frustration and led to disagreements. The group wanted to reach more fans, but they felt held back. Eventually, those problems got worse. After Seven and Virgin Records decided to part ways. They had released 3 albums with the label, but they felt it was time to move on. What's interesting is that when they left, they still owed the label over $100,000. That's a lot of money. Usually, when a group owes that much, the record company either holds them in the contract or sues them. But that didn't happen here. The executive who worked with them liked the group. He decided to let them go without a fight. He said, "We'll cut our losses and wish you the best." That's very rare in the music business. Most artists in that situation would be stuck or taken to court. Even Kenneth "Babyface" Edmonds said that was surprising. In most cases, if you still owe money, the label won't just let you walk away. They try to get that money back. But that didn't happen with After 7. They were lucky in that way. They got a fresh start. However, it wasn't easy for them to find another label. The music business is tough, and without strong support, it's hard to stay on top. They were tired of fighting with the label and not getting the help they needed. The disappointment from the label and the personal issues happening within the group made it hard to keep going. Thanks to that album, they became known all over. They even went on tour with other big names like Troop and Heavy D.
Dead end, over and over and over again. They told me to wait, so I waited, anticipate.
That showed how respected they were. The music industry started to pay serious attention to After 7. They weren't just a one-hit wonder. They proved they had staying power. People came to see them perform live, and they delivered every time. One example of this problem was with the song My My My. This song became a huge hit for Johnny Gill, but it was actually meant for After 7.
That was a tough pill for me because, we've always prided ourselves on, we show up.
Both Kevin and Keith showed up for the recording session, but Melvin didn't. Because of that, they couldn't complete the song as a group. The producers had a deadline, and they had to finish the song that day. Since Melvin wasn't there, they gave the song to Johnny Gill, and that song became one of Johnny's biggest hits. It was a big missed opportunity for After 7. It shows how much trouble the group was going through behind the scenes. Even though they had these problems, the people behind the music were still working hard. Writers and producers like Daryl Simmons, Kenny "Babyface" Edmonds, and L.A. Reid helped create these amazing songs. They knew how to make a hit. Whether it was After 7 or another artist, their music always sounded good. Their production and songwriting skills helped build the group's success from the beginning. Their first album was self-titled, which means the name of the album was After 7, just like the group. That album was a big success. One of the first songs that got people's attention was called Heat of the Moment. It was a powerful song that had people singing along. That track made it to number 5 on the R&B charts. It also reached the top 20 on the pop charts. That's not easy for any new group, but they did it with their smooth voices and great music. People felt the emotion in their singing. The song had a strong beat, and the lyrics spoke about love and real feelings, which connected with listeners. After their successful first album, After 7 released a second album called Takin' My Time. This album also did well. It went gold, which means it sold over 500,000 copies. One of the standout songs from that album was Nights Like This.
Nights like this, I wish that raindrops.
That song came from the movie The 5 Heartbeats. You might remember the lyrics, "Nights like this, I wish raindrops would fall." In 1991, Virgin Records landed the soundtrack for The 5 Heartbeats, a movie a lot of people don't realize was actually inspired by the legendary R&B group, The Dells. Now, here's where After 7 came in. They recorded Nights Like This, and it ended up being one of their biggest moments. The song broke into the top 10 on the R&B charts and quickly became a fan favorite. It didn't just stop there. It won an ASCAP award for one of the most performed songs in a motion picture that year. That single didn't just help the movie, it helped push the entire soundtrack to certified gold. After 7 had officially gone from background to spotlight. That song touched a lot of hearts. The version by After 7 was strong, emotional, and very well done. Another hit from the second album was Baby I'm For Real. This song went to number 5 on the R&B chart. But here's something a lot of people don't know. This song was originally written by Marvin Gaye and his then-wife, Anna Gordy. The song was first recorded by a group called The Originals, but it didn't do that well on the charts. However, when After 7 recorded it, they brought new life to it. Their version was fresh and soulful. It made people really listen to the lyrics and feel the emotion. It became a big hit because of the group's strong performance and smooth harmonies. Their third album with Virgin was called Reflections. This album also went gold, but it didn't have as many big hits as the first 2 albums. The main song that stood out was Can't You Do Me Right? That song reached number 5 on the R&B chart. It was smooth, heartfelt, and showcased the group's strong vocals. Even though the album didn't do as well as the first one, it still proved they could make good music. After the group left Virgin Records, they continued to make great music. They came together as a group called Milestone, along with Casey and JoJo from the group Jodeci. One of the songs they did together was I Care About You. That song was amazing. Back then, it played all the time on the radio. I would hear it at the store, in the car, at friends' houses, everywhere. The music video was also very popular. The song touched a lot of people. It was about caring for someone and wanting to be there for them, and many people related to it. What made I Care About You even better was hearing Kevin and Keiichi sing together. They both have strong voices, and when they sang that high part at the end of the song, it gave people chills. It was powerful. You could tell they gave it their all. The way their voices met on that high note was amazing. They even performed the song on The Oprah Winfrey Show, and the crowd loved it. The women in the audience gave them a standing ovation. People were smiling, cheering, and clapping like crazy. It was a special moment. At that time, there were talks about making Milestone a full-time group. People loved the idea, but there were problems. Casey and JoJo were signed to another music label, and that made things hard. They couldn't move forward as a group because of those contracts. It's sad because Milestone could have done really well as a full-time group. But even though that didn't happen, the music they did together still lives on. It left a mark on fans and showed how talented they all were. Milestone was actually the name of a group in the movie Soul Food. In the movie, the group was created by a character named Miles, who was married to Terry.
What? Can we talk about what?
Life changed for all of them after they disbanded. Melvin stopped singing and became a truck driver around Lake Tahoe. He stepped away from the music world for a while and found a new way to support himself.
We honestly didn't want to move forward recording without Melvin's participation, and he had grown a little weary with all the trappings of the music industry.
Keith Mitchell had his own struggles. At one point, he opened a restaurant, but things didn't go well, and he ended up homeless for 4 to 6 months. That was a hard time in his life, but Keith didn't give up. He later started a construction business. He worked hard and built something strong. He's been running that business for more than 14 years now. Even though he had hard times, he found a way to survive and grow. That takes real strength and courage. Melvin Edmonds continued with music. In 1999, he released a solo album. The title track, 24/7 Inches, was a big hit. People loved that song. It was played on the radio all the time. Kevin's voice was still strong, still smooth, and still full of emotion. He kept his passion for music alive, even while the group was not active. He proved that he could shine on his own, too. Like I said earlier, sadly, in 2010, Melvin had a stroke. It affected his health and he could no longer tour with the group. But his son, Jason Edmonds stepped in to sing in his place. Jason did a great job, though he said people still tell him, "You sound good, but you're not your daddy." He laughs about it because he knows how special his father was. Melvin had a voice that touched people's hearts. Jason said he learned a lot from his dad and was proud to carry on the family name in music. In 2016, After 7 made a big comeback. They released an album called Timeless. It came out in late October of that year. Even though Melvin couldn't tour anymore, they still included his voice on the album. He was still a big part of the group. The songs on that album were fresh and full of emotion. 2 songs from the album, Let Me Know and I Want You, both made it to number 6 on the R&B charts. Another song, Running Out, started to rise on the charts as well. It showed that After 7 still had fans and could still make hits. The title, Timeless, was perfect for that album. It showed that After 7's music would never grow old. Even though they didn't always get big awards or huge sales like some other artists, they had something special. They had heart. They had soul. Their music came from real feelings, and that's what made them stand out. Even now, new people are discovering their songs, and old fans are still listening. Their music has stood the test of time. What makes this even more special is how After 7 kept going. Many groups break up and never come back, but After 7 came back stronger. They didn't quit. They kept singing, kept recording, and kept performing. They didn't let age or hard times stop them. That's something to be proud of. Their fans didn't leave them. In fact, the fan base grew. More people started to listen to their songs and appreciate their talent. That's the mark of true artists. How did After 7 come to be? How did their story star? Let's get into that. Now, the thing about this group, After 7, is pretty amazing. All 3 members became famous in their 30s. That might not sound like a big deal today, but back then, people in the music industry usually got famous when they were in their teens or early 20s. Kayvon wasn't that kid who grew up chasing a singing career. He didn't even take it seriously till he got to college. The one everyone looked up to was Melvin, the big brother with that smooth, soulful voice that felt like it belonged on a record. By 15, Melvin was already leading his own band called Soul Innovations, like it was no big deal. But life came at him fast. By 19, Melvin had a whole family, was married, and clocking in at Chrysler on the assembly line. He still sang when he could, but reality had him in a chokehold. He was focused on providing, not performing. Fast forward a few years, Kayvon ends up at Indiana University, and that's where things start clicking. He takes this African American Studies class called IU Soul Review, part music theory, part business, part live R&B performance, and that's where he links up with Keith Mitchell. During summer break, Kayvon and Keith go back home and start messing around musically with Melvin. The 3 of them start performing locally, mostly doing covers, and it works. The chemistry's there. They kept at it for years, but the industry? Crickets. No label interest, so they kept working their 9-to-5s, just trying to make it make sense.
I had said to both Kayvon and Melvin, I told them, don't leave your jobs. It's not worth it. I don't know that anything can happen.
Meanwhile, Babyface, he was already out here in the mix, moving with the deal and slowly laying the foundation for something way bigger. And then Babyface and L.A. Reid were heating up. Like, really heating up. Everybody in the industry wanted a piece of what they were doing. Labels were calling left and right, and eventually they locked in a production deal with Virgin Records.
There ain't no demo tape? You didn't perform? No, we just arrived at Los Angeles one day at Virgin Records, met the people.
And Virgin wasn't just some random label. They had Janet Jackson, Paula Abdul, Loose Ends, Soul II Soul. It was stacked. So once the deal was official, Babyface picked up the phone, called home, and told his brothers, Melvin and Kevon, y'all got a record deal. Just like that.
When LA and Babyface brought us the group After 7, why, it was a no-brainer because they were writing and producing the songs.
They kicked around a few name ideas, but Babyface already had one locked and loaded. After 7. Why? 2 reasons. One, he always used to say, after 7 o'clock, anything goes. And 2, his answering machine literally said, after 7, please leave a message. That little catchphrase just stuck, and it became the group's name. From the assembly line to a record deal, Melvin and Kevon were officially in the game. It was rare for people in their 30s to get the spotlight, especially in R&B. But After 7 made it, and one reason was that they didn't look their age. Even though they were in their 30s, they looked much younger.
Because if they had known, then it might have been a problem at that time.
That helped a lot, especially since the music industry often focuses on youth. Because of their youthful looks and strong voices, they got a chance to shine. Most people didn't even know how old they were when they first came out. That was kind of like their little secret. It all worked out,